I almost threw away the package that arrived 3 weeks after my brother's funeral. No return address, no note, just a small metal key taped to the inside of the box. At first I thought it was some kind of mistake. Then I noticed the tag attached to it. Storage Unit 417. My brother Marcus had been dead for 22 days, and suddenly it felt like he was trying to tell me something. Marcus and I hadn't been close for years. We grew up together in Cleveland, but adulthood pulled us in different directions. I became a paramedic. He became a truck driver who spent more time on the road than at home. The last few years were especially tense. He missed birthdays, skipped holidays, ignored calls. When our mother got sick, I accused him of abandoning the family. He never defended himself, just apologized and disappeared again. So when he died in what police called a routine highway accident, I buried him carrying more resentment than grief. That's why the key bothered me. It felt unfinished, like a question I couldn't ignore. 2 days later, I drove to the storage facility. The manager looked surprised when I gave him Marcus's name. "You're the sister?" he asked. I nodded. His expression changed, almost like he'd been waiting for me. Inside Unit 417 wasn't furniture or old boxes, it was an office, a fully furnished office, desks, computers, filing cabinets, whiteboards covered in notes, and dozens of photographs. Every single photo was of someone different. Single mothers, elderly men, teenagers, families. At first I thought I had stumbled into something illegal. Then I found a binder. On the cover, Marcus had written one sentence. "If you're reading this, I couldn't finish." My hands started shaking. Inside were hundreds of pages, names, medical records, fundraising plans, housing applications, scholarship requests. For nearly 7 years, Marcus had secretly been helping people in crisis. Using his trucking routes, he delivered food, medicine, and supplies to struggling families across multiple states. But that wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was how he paid for it. Everything came from his own savings. Nearly every dollar. The vacations he never took, the new truck he never bought, the house he never upgraded, it had all gone to strangers. People I had never met, people whose lives had quietly depended on him. Then I found a locked drawer. The same key opened it. Inside was a stack of letters. The first one was addressed to me. I sat down and started reading. "If you're angry, I understand. You deserved explanations, but there wasn't time." I frowned. There wasn't time. What did that mean? Then I reached the next page, and my entire world stopped. Marcus hadn't died in an accident. At least not exactly. 6 years earlier, he had been diagnosed with a rare heart condition. Doctors told him he would eventually need a transplant. His chances were uncertain. That's why he traveled so much, not for work. Not to escape us. He was building a network of people he wanted to help before his time ran out. The trucking job was just the cover story. I couldn't breathe. For years I had called him selfish. For years I believed he didn't care. Meanwhile, he had been living on borrowed time and spending that time saving other people. But the final letter shattered me. It wasn't addressed to me. It was addressed to a teenage girl named Ava, one of the people in the photographs. According to the letter, Marcus had paid for a life-saving surgery she couldn't afford, without ever telling her who the donor was. I tracked her down a week later. When I knocked on her door and explained who I was, she started crying before I even finished speaking. Then she told me something I never expected. "Your brother saved my life twice." I stared at her. "Twice?" She nodded. "The surgery was the first time. The second happened the day he died." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" Ava showed me a newspaper clipping. The crash hadn't been random. Marcus had swerved his truck to avoid a disabled vehicle stranded on the highway. A vehicle carrying Ava and her younger brother. The impact killed him. But they survived. In his final seconds, he had saved the same girl he had secretly helped years earlier. I broke down right there in her living room. Everything I thought I knew about my brother had been wrong. The man I accused of abandoning his family had spent years carrying the burdens of complete strangers. Today, the storage unit is gone. The office is gone, but Marcus's project isn't. The people he helped now run it together. And every year, dozens of families receive the support he once provided alone. For most of my life, I thought my brother kept disappearing because he didn't care. The truth was far harder to accept. He wasn't running away from people. He was spending what little time he had left making sure nobody else had to face their worst day alone.